it's all a big mind F, you know?
It certainly is. I think you have to go the other way, don't you? It just doesn't make compelling broadcasts if everyone is in agreement and everyone is nice and happy and chummy. But I have heard from our wonderful producers that we are going to be getting into the action sooner rather than later. Apologies for the delay, but here we go. And of course, SKADE starting over on that CT side of things. Opportunity to start building their half early as well. Sinner's picking up a decent bank of utility. Beastic grabs himself single smoke and a flashbang to try and enable some of those team kills.
Yeah, with an interesting stack straight over towards A as well. Obviously, Bubble's left alone so that he has that utility to delay on Banana if they start to find the presence. But for now, anyway, Sinners are not looking to move all that quickly. As you said, they've got a bit of utility on towards B-Stick. They'll wait out and very likely now start working their way up Banana, where there's no longer a player to actually hold for that aggressive info. So they're not going to know what's going on pretty much until they start moving towards this bomb site. And even with the one player they're being spotted over in the apartments, all that's done is pull the player from long even further in.
That's going to make this rough as well. With that utility on Bubble, he needs to get a lot done here. Spotted out, has the smoke and the HG, but it's an awkward fight. They're trying to flank fast down mid. Shock deals with Ships as he looks to get that going. And now Bubble going to be charged through the smoke. Zedko gets the 1-for-1, but that's more than enough. It buys them the man advantage in this afterplant. Rainwaker desperately looking for the utility that his teammate had dropped. He will be able to grab the smoke, but they're not interested. Not even remotely bothered about heading back into that B site. So instead, a 3-man save, saving 3 sets of armor, 2 on full HP as well, so a little less expensive to upgrade onto the headpiece as well. But that's a well-executed round from Sinners. It's well worked, and it works out beautifully.
Yeah, it was a massive gamble in fairness from SKADE. I'm wondering if that was maybe a counter to a pistol that they've seen Sinners throw out a few times. Obviously, this is the standard pick for Sinners, so I'd imagine it was looked into quite a bit, but yeah, they change it up, play things a little bit slower over towards Banana with just one player selling all of the presents and keeping those 4 players not only present on A, but even deeper into the commitment than I would say necessary, forcing those rotations to just be so damn long. And, well, with that SKADE, they're going to be forced onto a buy here that honestly isn't too bad. They have a scout on towards Denislav. Not ideal maybe on Inferno, but we'll see what he gets done with that now. Maybe some early picks can be found and a couple of rifles and deagles to back it up. It's not a bad find, but obviously you can see Sinners are aware of what they should be up against. They're playing this pretty safe in terms of going for 3 AKs and a Galil then as well. Not going to be investing into too many of those SMGs.
Oh, Forzy making good use of the AK as well. Timing takes Denislav out of the fight nice and early. It is a decent force buy, you have to say. That 3-man save looks pretty well justified. 2 FAMAS. Scout, unfortunately, felled early. And you can see Sinners know, with that early pick found, there's going to be more aggression. There's going to be more gamble rotations pulled by the CT side. So they just take off all aggression. Forzy starts to have a little bit of a look in top mid and does outstay his welcome just a moment too long. Rainwaker able to grab that kill, but it's actually pulled the rotations back the wrong way here. The CT side completely abandoning the A site. Right as Sinners look to pop up top mid, there's going to be nobody home to protect it.
This is, I mean, I don't think they're trying to sell these fakes as hard as they're working, but damn, they've been perfect. They've walked into both bomb sites pretty much with no resistance. Obviously, there was the 1 man in that previous round, but it has been a couple of stacks that aren't paying off for SKADE. I admire it, though. I'm fine with these positions. When you have a buy like this as well, splitting up 2-2 in this situation probably wouldn't have ended much better. Instead, you probably would have just maybe got a kill or 2 at most, and very likely lost half of the weapons that could have been very useful in this upcoming round. So I'm fine with the save. Maybe even a pistol left to drop over to Denislav rather. I'm not too sure, but either way, it gives them the chance to try and do a bit more damage once again. Problem is, they didn't really do any here, did they? Because the 1 kill they got, sure, was on the rifle, but it was recovered then. The Mach 10, I believe, was dropped by B-Stick to go ahead and pick it back up.
Yeah, this is the problem. 4 AKs saved. Well, 3 in a Galil. It's such a solid position. No, it's not shabby at all. The extra rounds, especially against the half buys when you're going to be ran down, they're useful. It does work. It's much better than the FAMAS, I'll say that. And it does just allow Sinners to set their economy early, right? 4 rifles saved across. Yes, they'll be investing into util, but the Kevlar's going to maintain across. So half a buy to 2/3 of a buy now already in the bank for Sinners. As once again, we're going to see SKADE struggling to get it out. The Scout 2 FAMAS maintained, Deagle and a P250 for Ships and Bubble. They do get a little more util again, but it's not going to be enough to stall this hit for any real length of time. So SKADE are aware they need early picks, and that's exactly what Ships is looking for here. Neofrag pushing his way out. Ships is tucked in behind the sandbags. He's out of support, though, and Neofrag just able to run him down. Rainmaker desperately flash back in, will at least find one and bail, but again, that's not quite good enough for this CT side. They need more, and they know it, so Bubble grabbing the AK through the smoke will take out the low HP B-stick and find the man advantage this CT side so desperately needed.
Oh, I was going to say a perfect follow-up smoke as well so that they could just keep that advantage, but he decided to go up to the car and start spamming. And unfortunately, that leads to his death. So back into a 3-on-3. The AK at least is going to be recovered by Rainwaker, but now instead of having that numbers advantage, they're left in a pretty rough position. The B player alone on pretty low health. It doesn't look like he's going to be tested anyway, but over on A, they don't really have all that much in terms of putting in the defense. No utility, just a scout and a FAMAS to try and hold on. And they're not really in ideal positions to help each other either. Denislav's actually spotting for that long push right now. Shock, though, watching for a push of his own, and he'll be well rewarded. Dreamer steps forward, and it seems more like a bit of a nightmare.
Denny again, smoked off, outnumbered, outgunned, stuck with nothing he can really do. Has to back away. The AK will be a solid enough save, you have to say, for Rainwaker. But again, 3-man. It's the bare minimum, but it's solid for the T side. It'll allow them to build that extra little bit of cash. Denny going to be saving the FAMAS once again. And this is the kind of start we wanted to see for Sinners, right? Getting some nice picks, some nice trades, and then Gen really executing solidly into the site, pulling that CT side rotation to and fro, not really allowing SKADE any time to settle and any time to really establish themselves in these early rounds.
Pressure definitely being kept on. In fairness, we're only going to see the first real gun round coming out now. Denislav will probably drop that FAMAS over maybe the Ships, who's a little bit low on money in comparison to the rest of the team. Try and ensure those nades are going to be plentiful. I unfortunately believe that the AKs around Bottom Banana had been taken away, so they weren't able to get themselves another one. Yeah, I mean, that moment right there was the questionable one to me. It looked like the rotation, in fairness, was beginning to move away from B. Rainwaker wanted to go over towards A and try and help out over there. I think he was already tagged up pretty heavily as well, so he just wanted to be part of kind of the numbers on that A bomb site. Once his teammate dies, though, it just kind of falls apart. They no longer have the advantage. They're the ones who are starting to feel the pressure once again, rather than being able to sit a bit more comfortably on the bomb sites. And yeah, unfortunately, things didn't go their way, but now on the guns, this is where they have a chance to get things going, and, well, it's not a bad start. B-Stick's burning to bits over on Banana right now, just about managed to survive between those two Molotovs, but, yeah, as you can see, isn't really able to hang on to any sort of control. Forced back away, a decent start here for SKADE, but it's not damage they'll 100% be aware of, I don't believe.
The problem is it's cost them a lot of their utility as well. Rainwaker and Ships both down to a single flash. T-side will be aware that the economy definitely not established in this one, as Neofrag does pick up a nice HE, and actually it's a little bit of dropped utility on the floor for Bubble, so he'll be able to reset with a molly and a smoke. Drops that to just try and flush this support out for Sinners, and it's burnt a lot of time off this clock. Minute left, allowing for a 4-man stack over towards A. He's still got a smoke available, Bubble, as well. As long as he doesn't get caught out by that Logs position. Oh, Bubble, you're playing a dangerous game there, bud. Gets away with it this time, though, and now that 4-man stack looks like it's going to pay off. 4 players ready to receive this hit, but Forzy on the off angle boosted up, able to deal with Ships early, and now it's on to Dreamer. First kill from Balcony. He needs to bait them into the crossfires, and that's exactly what he does. 4 kills in quick succession, leave Neofrag out on a limb, and Bubble is there to mop up the pieces.
Here we go. A little bit of a risk this time, paying off more for them, and ideally, in an ideal position as well, where they only lose that one player, so easy enough on the reinvestment. They'll be able to hopefully now chain a bit together, because as you can see, the economy's still going to be there for Sinners to work this one out in a decent position. Good work by Dreamer. He has actually been their top performer, I believe, over these past couple months since being added in. Not by a massive amount, I don't believe. Yeah, closely followed by Denislav. Ships and Rainwaker having some good performances as well. Bubble maybe a little bit underwhelming, rather. But I'm not sure what role he's actually taken within this team, so that's something I'm definitely curious about. Neofrag has just gifted those 2 kills. As Bubble and Chips decide, let's take a mad swing. I think there was a flash tossed in fairness, but they don't even really manage to get any damage off on him.
T-side just played anti-flash behind the half wall, dodged the first as it came in, and there wasn't really enough supporting utility for the re-swing is what I'll say. That first pick, yeah, it looked like it had decent flashes, but the trade just didn't have the utility there to support it, and now 2 men down, you can see SKADE having to go for the gamble, having to make the call. 3 men over towards this B site. Still plenty of time for Sinners to work this one out as well, with Zedco posted in these apartments. Should just be a matter of time until they work it out and they start to make their way back towards that A site. As Forzy, yeah, he's heading down. He's going to recover that bomb. And which way does he look to go with it? He's going to go through the apartments. They are starting to smell a rat here. Little bit of fake utility going out towards B. Couple of smokes, flashes, mollies just to keep them busy. And, well, maybe a little more than that as well, as Denny down to 19. But it is going to be the A site, the unoccupied A site at that. And, well, Sinners will be working it out very shortly.
The crickets are fitting.
Yeah, they are.
They'll at least be able to save their 3 weapons, which will lead to a pretty strong buy. I mean, you probably will have the drops come in, but the money isn't even too bad for ships and bubble as is. So, at the very least, they're still going to be able to try and fight back into this one. But Sinners are getting off to a very strong start. Heading up what is going to be 4-1 here, of course, already on their T side. And this is, as we said, an absolute necessity if they want to have a chance at fighting in this series, with Overpass coming up next just being a map that they haven't touched yet with this roster. At least with this exact 5-man. Obviously, not like the most massive of changes. Oscar out, Forzy in. And as you said, that can be pretty important, especially on those more op-centric maps. No hunting coming in. I'm a little bit surprised by that. The economy's fairly weak in Furnace, so I guess they don't really want to throw anyone towards it, but thought they may have tried to take a weapon or so away. More so, they were just hoping a mistake could be made by SKADE as they were holding out those exit points. But there we go, 4-1. As I said, plenty to get the reinvestment for SKADE, but if they lose this, they're very likely going down 6-1, so they just can't let that happen.
Yeah, it's that second swing there. There's no utility for it. There's nothing to stop Neofrag just gunning ships down. It felt like it was fighting a losing battle after that first kill came through. They wanted to try and trade bubble out so desperately that they threw caution to the wind and it backfired. We'll still be able to get the buyout into this one though. The 3 saved rifles really forming the backbone of it. Able to scramble a half-decent pocket of utility as well. Forzy is going to bring out that T-side AWP. Interesting to see where he looks to have impact with it, as for now he just holds banana.
Ooh. Didn't do as much damage as I thought it was going to. Beastic took the majority, Neofrag getting away with it mostly. But yeah, back to the slower banana control. It has been working fairly well for them in fairness, but SKADE this time with that stack that they put in place have decided they're just going to just wait it out. They aren't going to be getting aggressive. They're going to be very likely finding this push coming forward. I don't think Shock's going to be able to single-handedly sell out this fake again. Yeah, and indeed you can see they just immediately call, as you said, for that retake to come in. It doesn't work out all that well, actually, after Neofrag comes back in. The op then peeking through slowly is going to be punished. Sure, the damage has been done on Neofrag. And while they do have the bomb down in a pretty awkward position as well, there's still a bit of time. So if they can recover this, the decision is still really there to be made for Sinners about where they want to end this.
3-on-3, CT side are going to have to make a decision. You can see Rainwaker toying with it in and around the arches. He's going to catch the timing out mid, and he will get the gun down onto Shock. Now, with 25 seconds left on the clock, Bomb going to try and hightail it in towards that A site, but with 2 players there, this is surely going to be impossible to deal with. Dreamer drops himself a one-way, make sure he can occupy short. And well, 13 seconds, T-side looking a little bit lost without a cause here. Low HP, Neofrag will go down for free. And Forzy, well, he just wants to save his AWP, escaping through the apartments of SKADE. They do find the response, and it was a solid one at that. That initial retake utility was really well timed and really well executed. But again, it felt like they just wanted a little too much, and Neofrag was able to punish that.
Yeah, in fairness, I don't think they expected him to just go on a madman charge through the smoke here. After Bubble went down, though, I think, yeah, definitely Denislav probably could have calmed it down a little bit rather than peeking into that angle. Even just fall back to the CT angle, because they have the bomb down in the open at that stage. It's pushed in as well. He can't really recover it without actually committing in towards B a little bit, so it definitely would have made things a bit easier, but obviously they were still able to make it work in the end. 2-4, and I'd imagine this pause is from Sinners. Do we have confirmation?
No confirmation just yet. We're going to have to play the guessing game on this one.
I can give it a check.
Discord, unfortunately, is having a little bit of a blip right now. So a lot of the logs that we would traditionally use to find this information is having a wobbly, Dean. But
Not loading
either
very
way, Sinners are going to be getting the buyout into this one. It's a little scrappy around the edges as Beastick drops down onto the MAC-10. Yet to find a kill in this series, so he'll be looking to correct that. But again, the utility is a little slim for the CT side as the early Molotovs go out. Ships and Rainmaker, Bubble as well, dropping down to near single nades. And this is the concern for me. SKADE seem to be leaning on that early banana control, but they're not taking it. They're dropping the util, then they're escaping away, and you can see Sinners aware of that and now just looking for the immediate punishment. You've thrown 2 mollies, a handful of flashes, smokes down banana early. We know you've not got the nades to hold this anymore, so the execute's going to come in quickly. 4 players here ready to pop, and well, there's no resistance. Bubble, he's deep CT. His plan was to drop the utility, but the fast pace has caught him completely unawares. And well, at this point, it just looks awkward. Rainmaker, yes, he'll deal with the lurk, and they will start to think about the retake, but the nades can't quite deny plant. Denny deals with Zedco, and that may tempt them in, but Beastick's position is good. Should be good for at least one, if not more, but the trade comes in. Ships with a critical kill, and, well, 1v3, 2v3 very nearly. It's Forzy, the youngster, who's got to clutch things up.
Might have a chance if he snatches up this first kill, but being double swung on, Ship's already now hopping on that bomb as the smoke goes down, and yeah, it doesn't look like there's really going to be anything. Hang on though, there's no kit on the man defusing. Dreamer does have one in reserve, but it's going to be very, very close. I think he just about has it. But damn, what an attempt from Forzy in the end right there. You've got to think though, if the player back at quad was able to just tuck away and hide for a couple of seconds, that probably would have been their round.
Just needed a little more time to play with Sinners. Couple more seconds of that player, like you said, staying alive on site, buying a little bit more time. If that frag doesn't go the way of Dreamer immediately, then maybe this second shot from Forzy through the smoke to deal with Ships is enough. As it is, SKADE get away with one a little bit, force Sinners back onto the half-bite. Eagles, Techs, P250s available. And again, expect to see a slightly faster style of play here. 3 players making their way into the apps, the 4th joining them shortly with Bomb. Zedco with 1 flash and a smoke to potentially try and get them out mid.
Yeah, well, we've seen this work out a lot, although no one's going to be going around apps, which is definitely an interesting approach as they try and charge through the molly. They get spammed down by Dreamer, who has a field day, and yeah, it's not going to be too much harder there for Ships as the final player emerges from the long smoke. So 4-4, pretty straightforward right there, you've got to say, for SKADE. You weren't expecting a lot. Although a couple of kills and maybe a bomb plant would have been pretty helpful for Sinners, as I don't think their nades are going to be quite too perfect there. There might be a weakness or two to their buy. Yeah, as you can see, if they want to get the op on Forzy, it has to be dropped over. I do believe it was at least given to him there by Zedco, if I see correctly. So they have decided to pull it out here on the T side. Ooh, and we're going to get a challenge right down mid. Denislav, he had actually been spotted, I think, in the initial seconds there as they kind of rattled off shots at each other, but he was the man who was willing to just stick to that angle, rather, fully committed. And if he had have even stuck around a second or two more, if the player down bottom mid, if Forzy didn't peek, very likely he would have had his teammate ready on second mid to at least trade it.
Desperate to find the trade. Shock will grab it, and through the smoke, Zedco grabs another out of nowhere. Again, Sinners able to drag that man disadvantage back in their favor, leaving Dreamer completely isolated, and Zedco slipped the net here. Bubble's thinking about it, but the long barrel will give him away. This is falling apart. Not like this, SKADE. Zedco gets 3. And well, Beastick just left to mop up the remaining bits and bobs. SKADE, such a promising start. I was going to go into a spiel about how that's the problem with the T-side AWP, but Sinners just upped the pace immediately. As soon as that pick's found, they're charging through everything top mid, catching SKADE completely unaware. And again, Zedco just having an absolute field day.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a, as I said, early peak rather by Forzy. His teammates were already on the way up second mid. They were trying to be quiet about it. Once he died, though, they did have to go full sprint, and thankfully were able to make it work there, but maybe they could have avoided the death even, perhaps. They had to play a bit more off of each other. We do get another pause in. I'm going to presume this time it's from SKADE. Discord's still not cooperating, I don't believe, but yeah, it was only a tactical. The issue is when we get a technical and we have to wait to 30 seconds or so to find out what it is. Oh, okay, we're going to have another pause coming right in.
Pauses on pauses. We chill. We start to look at the situation, and well, all credit to Sinners. They started fast, which was exactly what we asked of them. And they are keeping this series on a knife's edge. That economy is rocking back and forth at the moment. It's definitely advantage Sinners as it stands. But again, it only feels like one round to swing the tide and get SKADE right back into this. Blinding start for Rainwaker. Nobody really able to match him yet. Neofrag leading the way on the Sinners side of things as well, pretty much as you'd expect. And I don't know, I'm not sold on that T-side ult for Forzy. I'm not sold at all, but he'll have to prove me wrong here, as it's going to be Denny on the AWP once again up against him. Utility limited. Expect to see some aggression from SKADE here. They've been trying to take that banana control consistently. Could this be the time they commit the manpower to it?
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, they've been putting 3 players a couple times, but they never decided to go with the aggression. And, well, now they're actually going to decide instead that mid is where they want to show the aggression. Forzy just catches them completely off guard. A flash over from Zedko blinds them up. The man in the front crouches, and it just gives an opportunity for the 2 players to be taken out immediately. No fight put up, and are they just gonna... I thought they were gonna rotate it over to B. They are. They're taking a risk to stack B. If the commitment comes in on A, at the very least they have these weapons to save, and if it by some miracle does come over towards B, then they'll have a shot at actually holding it off. That's not looking too likely. So with one shot, Forzy has already put the nail in the coffin here for SKADE, unfortunately. And I think this banana aggression is going to confirm it for them. One thing we do need to mention here is that for both of these teams, they are pretty much equal in terms of stats. They're both about 55% T-sided. So far it's kind of going as you'd want it to, I guess is the way to put it, if you want a close game between the 2.
That's such a rough round for it to happen in as well, yeah. Forzy. Just making it hurt for SKADE. Talking in the break about how this is the opportunity, you know, the economy on a knife's edge, both sides desperately fighting. Oh well, Forzy, just as I'm criticising the T-side up and saying how I don't like it, grabs himself a collat pick down mid. Pretty much shuts the round out there and then. Again, though, going to be a little bit of a handshake as we get towards the death of things. The economy for Sinners not established enough for them to really be sending players hunting. SKADE just happy to save what they've got, knowing that their economy still isn't there, still isn't really established. They're going to need a little bit of a miracle round in the next if they want to start fighting back and not let Sinners start to really run away with this T-side.
Yeah, definitely in with a chance of doing so. And I mean, even with the 3 weapons, of course, being saved, you just can't really see the full investment. If they take 1 eco, they'll only just about be scraping the buy in this next round as well, then, as they won't really get a lot of utility behind their weaponry onto everyone unless they save something again. So it's a pretty rough position to be in. Fantastic flash from Zedko, you've got to say, but yeah, Forzy gifted that one a little bit. It was a bit of a wild attempt, I've got to say, from SKADE. I don't think we'll be seeing them throw that mid-aggression in again anytime soon. I think over towards Banana, as you were saying before, might be the better idea. The problem is, Bubble's going to be doing it alone right now. He had no option. He had committed too heavy. The mollies go down. He doesn't have a chance to fall back off. And, well, really, the hope was to take maybe a player or 2 with him. He did actually delay long enough for the op to get into position, so that is not a bad find at all. Ships comes in, snatches the life there of B-Stick, and it doesn't seem to really stop Sinners from wanting to commit.
Oh, Denny's in trouble. 20 HP, default pistol, nothing he can do, but he baits beautifully. Buys enough time, just enough time for Ships to swing out from that coffin smoke and find another pick, keeping his team in things. And this is where it gets interesting, because the pistols have done their job. They've baited, they've traded, and they've bought an even 3-on-3. Now with the bomb down, Rainwaker boosted over this smoke, should grab a freebie, at least knows where Shock is. Zedko, the only unknown left in this equation for Sinners to try and wrestle the round away. Bomb ticking down. Rainwaker does have the kit, but again, 0 utility. It's going to be dry fights from here on out, and Zedko wants to take them early, but he gets spotted, and they know exactly where Shock is. Ships swings in to trade him down, and with 3 rifles, SKADE have found themselves the miracle round.
Well, damn. It looked pretty good, in fairness, moving through. His Ship's been able to catch that kill from the CT spawn. He was doing good with the trades, but it still seemed like things should have been in the hands of Sinners, and unfortunately they're not able to close out with the afterplant. Again, it just really didn't seem like anything should have been going their way, especially with that initial player that got caught around the top banana with the mollies down behind them as well. Either way, good work by Ships. It's a bit of nostalgia as well, because he used to op back in the day, I believe. Doesn't really do it anymore. Pulling it out now as the secondary upper, and not really on a map where you see it all that often, to be honest, here on Inferno either. The boost, though, manages to take him out. A little bit of a curse right there, perhaps, on Chips.
Legs him up at the very least. He lands the shot, just not quite where he intended.
Hello?
Bubble, that is desperate.
Pop.
Dink onto B-Stick, not going to be enough. The AK always wins that fight, and it did feel again like SKADE were throwing the kitchen sink at things just a little bit too soon there. Rainwaker trying desperately to juggle that AWP away. Does leave himself a little vulnerable, and you can see the T side trying to abuse this. B-Stick tucking himself to the right-hand side behind the smoke, leaves Neofrag on the left, so you can double swing that Coffin's position, make life even more awkward. But Sinners just need to settle into it, and they're playing a lot of intelligence right now, just slowing the play down. They've got the picks, they've done the hard work. They know that the rotations are going to start to be drawn based on the utility. That second man, Denny, already making his way over towards the B site right as Sinners look to head on in towards A, at least with the utility. Bomb is still deep T ramp with 40 seconds left. And that leaves Dreamer with an interesting dilemma. He wants to hang around. He wants to try and grab this pick. Zedko is toying with going around the angle, but that only baits the rotations away. Rainwaker and Dreamer do well, but out in no man's land, there's nothing more Dreamer can achieve. He gets a ton of damage onto Shock, and again, it's so close, but so far for the boys on SKADE, as the bomb will make its way out the apartments. It'll go down, and Rainwaker, well, he'll look at the economy. He'll look at the likes of Dreamer and Bubble with no cash to spare whatsoever, and he'll have to resign himself to another save on that AWP.
Must be getting a bit bored on this B-bomb side by now. Obviously, he has to go for the save. I'm not calling them out or anything for it, but he is 11-2. It just shows you how many times that the bomb site has been lost in a position where he has no chance to retake, and it is unfortunately just forced to save. Probably a bit of a frustrating position to be in, and right now he might even have to fight for that weapon, although I don't think either of those players are too bothered considering the low health, so we should indeed be good to catch some of these replays. As you said, I didn't even notice that Forsey had been legged up there. No sort of flinch or reaction, just hops up, manages to snatch the kill, and keeps on going about his day. A 7-5 scoreline now. Again, keeping the favour slightly towards the T side, as you'd expect for both of these teams, but it's in a position here where SKADE could pretty quickly be broken, and it could even lead to potentially to 10 rounds at the halftime for Sinners, so they need to turn it around right now if they want to try and keep this a competitive half.
Just about holding on over on the CT side of things. This is it. Need a big win. So once again, they're going to contest the early banana control. Denny actually peeking down the angle. Will back away from it. Ships tucks himself close. As aggression headed his way. Nades chipping away at Denny and Ships respectively. They're feigning the flashes. They're trying to get this retake going, and Ships is headed fully in. B-Stick caught, nade in hand. Ships doubles up. Big kills to find as he tucks himself in now. 9 HP. Molotov to try and burn him away, but he manages to somehow dodge the hail of bullets. And that's exactly the response we needed from SKADE. They've toyed with that banana retake. They've toyed with taking that map control several times. Now they pull the pin on it, and it works out absolutely beautifully.
Yeah, catching them off guard. Decent damage at least is dealt out, but it's not going to be an easy position to recover from. Deep smoke even put back down. They can leave bubble if they want alone around banana right now, and it might be worth the risk in fairness with Ships being fairly low. Just send over the numbers, allow him to be towards that A-bomb site to help out on the hold, which is very likely going to be needed because they are starting to move forward now. While he's down, does stop any peek from coming through immediately. It lets Shock get up close now, and he lines them up towards Library. Damn! The double collateral this time with the AK comes in. Dreamer overcommits to that angle big time, allowing him to only get one kill out of it, and suddenly it's falling apart, but the flank, Bubble's coming in from behind, and they have no idea. He's able to drop them both, and just about saved the day for SKADE, but what the hell are these rounds? They're so hectic. Why is Dreamer jumping up out of a pit like that to take the fight? What?
Absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. Another collat. This time, Shock. Oh, AK, that is disgusting. And again, it feels like when those little moments go wrong, SKADE are just throwing the kitchen sink at it, right? There's no thought, no logic. All caution thrown to the wind. They just desperately want that refrag. It's going to be Forsey boosted again, full blind. Through the wall, catches the head of Bubble, and oh my goodness, it just goes from bad to worse. SKADE again a man down with essentially nothing they can do differently. They played that one nigh on perfect. And now they got decisions to make, starting to back out the initial banana control. Smokes go down to try and buy them a little more breathing room. The molly actually isolates Rainwaker, but 4Z and Sinners, there we go. Not going to push the issue. Happy to back away with what little utility they've got left and look to reset over towards A.
Yeah, depending on where they go, they could even wrap around long with no one currently watching it. Although, as I say that, Ships is beginning to rotate after boosting Rainwaker up in the spawn on B, I believe, on towards the planter. So, at this point now, they're going to be walking into a bit of an A stack. You got to wonder whether they potentially want to move it back up banana even. The bomb is still for now down towards the underpass. It can be recovered and really brought in either direction. No longer looking like it's going to be too likely though. They are beginning to get their way, move their way forward on long rather, and what a shot by Zedko. They have rifles on everyone else and he's like, nah man, you hang back, I got this.
This hold surely going to be impossible now. 2 rifles against the full might of Sinners as they start to make their play. D-Stick going to wander out long. Dreamer only good for 1. Denny desperately trying to do what he can. It's a nice little bait and switch setup, but the man swinging out long deals with the first, and then Denny, well, he swings out a grave, does as much as he possibly can, but it's going to be an 8th round on the board for Sinners. Their T-side continuing to blossom. And once again, Rainwaker, well, how many times? It's actually ridiculous. He's top of kills for SKADE, and how many times have we seen him just saving over towards this P site with nothing else to do?
That's nasty. Right in the head as well. Apparently a wallbang through the smoke. He just wanted as many icons in the kill feed as he could. That's what it was. Yeah, Rainwaker, I mean, it's deja vu at this point, right?
Yeah, he's going to be having dreams about bottom banana tonight. Found himself there a fair few times. Still competitive, though, you have to say.
Yeah, but look at their economy for this last round. They are... I mean, it'd be a force buy anyway, even if it wasn't the final round, just because this is multiple players on a double eco, but yeah, most some pistols to surround this AK, maybe a few nades behind it as well, but I'm not expecting too much. I'd like to maybe even see someone sacrifice down a bit so that they can get the utility, get those smokes to hold off the choke points, and just hope that Rainwaker is going to be able to get something done with that AK alongside some Deegs.
He's going to drop 1 Deeg, which should open up a little bit of utility. I was going to suggest that he could drop nades. Same principle, right? He drops the utility, picks up a couple nades for himself. That'll allow someone else to pick up a little bit more. But like you said, it's a very rough end to the half. 4 Deagles, 1 AK-47, all that stands between Sinners and a 9-6 as we head into the halftime on their map pick of Inferno. Well, they've got absolutely everything they want. 4 AKs, AWP in the hands of 4Z, which has been solid, I will add. I was very skeptical of that T-side AWP. He's made it work to good effect. Consistently found impact. Those little cheeky boosts onto the logs. Really punishing the peaks down banana. And SKADE, well, they're going to go for it again. Retake into the top banana. Pop flash to try and get that AK round, but it's an awkward fight for the second. Neofrag will burn. Bubble finds the trade, even if it is unconventional, and 4Z's a little isolated here. If he peeked, the timing could have been nasty. That AWP needed to hit the shot. As it stands, though, the AK will be backed away. 4Z will start to stretch his legs out top banana, and he's going a long way with that AWP, grabbing a ton of information, and you can see the T side are going to react to it. They're a man down, but they've got a swathe of map control over towards this B site, and Bubble has got no utility to slow this down. It's hitting the shots or nothing, as all 3 players from Sinners start to make their way around here. Pop flash into CT will keep him completely off the angle, and once again, it's going to be a free B site for the T side.
It's going to be pretty difficult to retake, as you said, without the nades, with only the kit there on Bubble. If he goes down, things could get a bit dangerous, but no, Denislav on the Deeg rips the head of Forsey off on Banana, comes through, cleaning up on Zedko as well, and, well, with that now, Shock is pinned in, players coming from both sides, surely going to be able to overwhelm him, and indeed, that is the case in the end. He was forced back towards the corner there. Unfortunately, not really given much of a chance. There it is. You're going to see Sinners coming out with a pretty good half for themselves in the end, but it was kept close, kind of as we expected. We said both about 55% of their rounds or so on that T side, only ever so slightly favoured in that direction, and I think the scoreline does reflect pretty well for that. Again, though, this map is a bit more necessary, I think, for Sinners to win with Overpass coming up next, so they still need to keep their head in the game.
Yeah, I will say that SKADE definitely saved themselves. I don't know where the best opportunity is because it's rough to read that on the T side of Inferno, but he's done enough. Sinners will go into the half with a lead, and, well, a pistol round and conversion, their T side could get flying very, very quickly here, Dean.
Yeah, definitely going to be a possibility. Surprisingly, no kick coming in. So it's going to be instead the nades, I think, even being dropped over to Neofrag. B-Stick just goes no armor in the USP, and perhaps is going to be one to take a bit of, I thought, maybe a crazier play for some info or so in the early seconds. But no, he's going to be the one who holds back over towards long. 3 players then push up through the apps to try and find info around second mid. And I don't think they spotted too much apart from Dreamer back towards the bridge. So we'll have to see whether they budge on this kind of stack that they've got in place for now, or if they are going to stick with it, because it looks like maybe a bit of noise will be made towards Banana as well.
Oh, Rainwaker, awkward fight to take. He did have backup, but backup has the bomb on its back, so it's a rough call for Denny. He wants to swing and trade, but he's aware if he walks into a stack like the one in place, then life's going to get real rough. And, well, the CT side, they'll hear these footsteps. It's a 4-man stack over towards A. Bomb on Denny, still trapped in the apartments as Zedko manages to double up, make it a triple bomb out in no man's land. And Sinners, this is the dream start now, 2 on 5. They've got Bomb absolutely isolated from the T-side support, and it's Dreamer and Ships just desperately trying to get anything they can done. But you can see there's 3 players on the Bomb, 2 out towards long. There's just nothing this T-side can do. They're being chipped away at. They're caught in awkward angles, and, well, Ships is just taking more and more damage here. He'll get a dink, but nothing more, and surely this one's a write-off. Dreamer just trying to swing in, see if maybe there's a kill, but he's not going to be given a damn thing. Flawless pistol for Sinners.
Yeah, he really is a dreamer if he thought he was getting anything out of that 1 on 5. Damn, just absolute lockdown. I mean, the call for the stack over towards A is fantastic, but even just that initial shot being landed in towards the boiler room, rather, and then being able to immediately fall away, happy enough to sit on the advantage and just knowing that they're going to have an amazing setup then once the hit does come true. A good bit of restraint being shown. Now SKADE, without the bomb planter, in a bit of a rough position. Do they want to just take the eco and try and get that early buyout? It'll be somewhat limited on nades, which can be fairly important here on Inferno, but you can still make it work with just the rifles. Or do you want to try and buy and put the pressure back on? Do you want to try and stop Sinners from getting towards double digits and getting a real lead going here? Because again, if they can take the victory here on Inferno, then they'll at the very least be setting themselves up to have the security of allowing Overpass to be a bit of a write-off if it doesn't go too well for them.
They're going to make the cheeky call, grab themselves a handful of deagles. Normally, these forces only really come around if you get the bomb down. It gives you the opportunity to pick up the rifles. Admittedly, sacrificing the util again, but a couple of players go down to Deegs. They get full belts, and then there's a couple of rifles to try and get the early picks. But without that, well, it's Deegs almost across the board. Sinners with plenty of farming potential as well. 2 MP9s already picked up. It's going to need another miracle round here from SKADE to keep themselves in this early. 2 rifles as Zedko picks up the second. Sinners will go for the triple rifle CT side, so not taking any risks at all. And that's going to make this job just a little bit harder for SKADE.
Hit down mid. Not going to do any damage, but it is going to keep them preoccupied while Forsey charges down to get himself a free kill here on the MP9. So, not bad at all. Everyone else is chilling around second mid, and well, this really isn't the start that you want with a force buy that you've spent quite a bit of time thinking about with those pauses. There might be a chance, though, for the punishment. Yeah, Dreamer is actually expecting Forsey to have stayed aggressive. He didn't have the chance, obviously, to fall back off. I believe Bubble had been spotting the top of mid the entire time. So, good work at least moving back in and ensuring that they don't get away with anything and that they don't retain an advantage. But the problem is, with that distraction that had come in, the banana control had been taken. They have a player deep in towards the tree now. Neofrag making a little bit of noise. They're spotting. Actually takes more damage than he'd probably like to. But he will still be able to rotate back around, importantly, over towards A to help out his teammates. And there'll be the opportunity for a very quick flank from B-Stick.
This is going to get rough if they don't find quick picks here, SKADE. Smoke goes out towards long. Hoping for aggression, but none being given. And now that last of that utility is starting to go out. 2 flashes and a smoke, all that remain. It's going to be the pop. A sights the target. Let's see how much they can get as they're going to try and go through their own smoke. Shock is waiting for this. Tucks himself into the cubby. 3 players headed his way, but he's blinded up. Denny gets the freebie, and now the B-Rap is on. But B-Stick is ready, and he will get the bomb. Surely that's bomb down. It is 20 seconds, and you can see the T-side have got no reaction to that. They've got to charge down Banana as 3, try and get that bomb and get back to the site. But B-Stick, well, he's going to be cheeky. Nade drops early. Now he looks to take advantage, and the teammates are there to support. The MP9's getting it all done. As Neofrag will just mop up the pieces. It looked so promising for SKADE, but that time bought by Forzy early, that aggression taken by B-Stick, is exactly the remedy for Sinners.
Yeah, played absolutely fantastically, as you said, and leaving the bomb alone there seems to be a bit of a questionable choice. Understandably, you don't want to be wrapping him around long late on his own, but yeah, even if they had left the bomb in that group of 3 players moving towards A, maybe would have even helped to have sold the fake a little bit better and perhaps even forced B-Stick forward into the player waiting at bottom banana. So it seems like it maybe could have been played out a little bit better. But either way, Sinners sitting at 10-7 now. They're going to be feeling good, and 11th round very likely to come off the back of it without too much hassle. But again, only a few deagles in play. Trading out their nades there, I believe that was.
Really looking at the table scraps here. Hoping maybe to take a rifle or 2 away, make it a little more expensive. But Forzy, well, he's playing smart for his age. Nice shot. Nade comes in, does overpeak ever so slightly, right as I give him the compliment. Dreamer takes his head off for it as well. But again, even 4 on 4, there's just no util, no opportunities for SKADE. Dreamer's down on 12 HP, and Zedko will make sure the rifle's not recovered. So it's going to take another one of those miracle moments from one of these Deegs to really get the T-side into things. Cheeky little boost up to try and get a little more control given. But again, CTs are just giving them nothing. Playing the crossfire as well. 40 seconds left. There's nothing for the T-side to really break this one open. So it's just going to be a straight pop once more. Rainwaker in towards the apartments. 3 players wandering out long. They will get the rifle. But B-Stick is there, ready and waiting behind this pillar. Low HP, Dreamer's the first to fall. Plenty more where that came from for B-Stick. Resets his angle well, though. And whilst he lets them past, he keeps himself alive and lets his teammates on the site know what's happening. Zedko turns. Nice double spray down. And Rainwaker, well, 0-3-3 as Zedko rips his head clean off.
Yeah, it really just seems like Sinners now are getting this lockdown on the CT side. We'll have to see going into this next gun round, or this gun round that's coming up right now, but yeah, Sinners looking good. It seems like everything's just kind of clicking a lot better than what we had seen from SKADE back on their CT side, even in terms of the coordination, in terms of the calls based on what they're seeing on the map and what's going down. Definitely a difficult spot for SKADE. If this round doesn't go their way, then it's going to be tough for them to start fighting back in at all. Molly down. Not going to be the double molly as we've been seeing tossed pretty much every round by SKADE back on their CT side. Instead, more so just looking to delay, I believe. Hanging on to that other molly for a little bit later on in the round in case they need it as a push comes forward. Bit of a self-nade over in the apartments there. Not ideal for Rainwaker, but he got away without taking any damage, so it should be good. Deciding against moving up banana now, I believe. Yeah, they were setting up the smoke to toss forward, maybe a flash as well, just to make sure no one was waiting around behind that half wall, but I think the smoke was replenished instead by Sinners, so they've been forced away from doing it for now, and Zedko has managed to take out Rainwaker over in the apartments, and this seems to be just forcing SKADE back towards B, while they still had a couple of lurkers trying to get kills on mid. Obviously the goal, though, with the bomb back at the top of banana was to head towards the B bomb site, but now they've got to do it in a 2-on-5.
Now it's impossible. B-Stick through the smoke gets one more. Dreamer tag down low. It's looking so disjointed from SKADE. Isolated fights being taken. Forzy having an absolute field day, and that's a nice confidence builder as well. Couple of quick picks. Dreamer forced to try and save that AK deep into T-spawn. And it's not going to be easy to do either. You can see Shock wants to hunt it. The money's not perfect, so they won't want to throw more than a couple of bodies at the equation, but if they can take this rifle away, you can see Sinners know just how dire straits it would put that T-side in. Dreamer desperately trying to hide out in towards those apartments with 13 seconds left. Looks like he will get away with it. Small silver lining to be found, but with Sinners on 12, just 4 rounds away from taking their map pick, their CT side, you've got to say, just like you said, Dean, is looking a lot cleaner than anything we really saw from SKADE.
And I'm just kind of surprised we're not getting the individuals out of SKADE right now that we're expecting. I mean, there's been moments, we've had glimpses of success for the likes of Dreamer, for Rainwaker as well. But no one is able to find any sort of consistency right now on the Bulgarian side, and it really is costing them. Sinners are all just clicking, as we were saying. There's no one who's really leading the charge too massively either. They're all able to contribute, and it just doesn't seem like there's much of a weak point. And I mean, this buy right now, it's only the half investment for everyone apart from Dreamer, who has that AK, of course, but still, it hasn't been working too well for them on the full gun rounds. So we'll have to see whether they can, at the very least, maybe get a few kills out of this one and perhaps allow that next gun round to be a little bit easier.
Needs something to change, surely. Like you said, a few picks, take some bits away. Make it a little bit more expensive, because so far it really has just been a slippery slope downhill. Interesting call here made by Sinners. 3-man stack over towards that B site. Looks like they're planning the retake, and well, Ships is here solo to hold it. So they're going to have to burst the A site off the back of it, surely. Molotov, Ships low on HP, force back, the rotation coming through, but it's going to be the flank deep into CT, and timing is everything here. Forzy, nice opener, Neofrag there to back him up, and that is a perfect hold to open things up. Forzy reads it like a book. He goes back for the second, make it a third. Lovely smooth sailing from Sinners, as once again it seems like SKADE have got nice ideas, but Sinners know what's coming before they've even called it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they just somehow knew exactly what was going to happen there. They were like, yeah, no guys, we should send the 3 over to B. Obviously they didn't do it expecting the split to come in. They wanted instead to just regain banana control, but yeah, it just works out so well. I'm going to presume that SKADE, when they heard that flash come over, presumed that there was maybe one peek and one on the bomb site, that they could make their way through the spawn pretty cleanly. Just didn't expect that third player to be there with the op already. A fantastic hold, a 13-7 lead here for Sinners as well, and if this gun round goes their way, then I just don't see SKADE putting up any more of a fight. There's not really going to be the chance for them to do so. It looks like they want to favour on towards A, but I mean, it's not like they've done much in terms of running down the utility or anything. There's still quite a bit here for the round to be delayed, for rotations to come true, and, well, even for banana aggression, as we're seeing right now, to come in potentially for the flank. They're not going to get much of a chance, though. This is a straight-up charge onto the bomb site. Forcy's good for one in behind. Default follows up at the second, and they just have no hope at all. He spotted the leg even behind that smoke. It's 14-7, and only a single casualty was even suffered for Sinners.
You gave him confidence, SKADE. You gave him confidence. You cannot do that. Forzy stepping up to the plate. A quad kill from close on sight as well. Battle AWPing to keep his side in it. A beautiful set for the CT side as well. It was a straight 3-on-5 pop into that site. You'd expect if you're SKADE to overrun it, but the AWPer's just there to punish everything that's given. And again, SKADE in an awkward spot. Little to no util. They've gone for the rifle. Ships with one flashbang to get them into one of these angles. It's going to be death ball or bust here. They're going to disrespect the CT smoke, but the nade, all that timing. 3 players tagged down low. Zedko is in trouble, but he'll swing wide for a double of his own. Those low HP bars benefiting massively. He's got the quad. He's on for the ace. If he knew Bubble was 23 HP, he'd take it, but B-Stick is there. Selfless from Zedko to make all 5 players stay alive. Sinners have 15. Oh, you couldn't write it, Dean. That was just far too easy. Zedko tapping away.
I mean, the entire CT side has been far too easy so far. Even just the way the pushes are coming in a little bit disjointed for SKADE, it seems like they have the right plan, but none of it's clicking. Maybe a second or so perhaps off on some of the peaks. Perfect reads from Sinners as well, coming in to counter the plays. It's just, what can they do right now? Doesn't seem like there's much to be done. Ships charges up banana at least to take some early control, but they will eat quite a bit of nade damage in the meantime. The flash, though, is perfect to force them back off the angle, catching at least one player out of position, but B-Stick doesn't care. He just stands tall, rather, taking 2 before eventually falling. But again, it's a 3-on-3. It's still a decent position for Sinners. No longer, though. I jinxed it.
That was a quick switch mistake from Forzy.
Less QQ, more
Went
PQ.
for the shot, tried to quick switch away. My little brother does it all the time. He gets too keen, too flashy. Quick switch off before you've fired the shot, and well, should be an 8th round for SKADE. Should be is the key term here. Denny is down on 19. He's bogged down his way into an AWP, and Zedko has dealt with the flank, so an even 2-on-2. Bomb halfway ticked is going to be the greatest friend of the T side now, however, as Shock, stuck behind that deep CT smoke, should be spotted on the fade, but he finds another kill, and that bomb, well, it's a long way gone, but it's not fully dead yet, and Denny, low on HP, has got it all to do, but he finds the big kill. Zedko not interested. For a split second there, it looked like SKADE were going to fumble the ball on their T side once again. Denny will go down with the bomb, so it's the ultimate sacrifice, but they get an 8. They get something, a single round so far on their T side, but they need a lot more where that came from to have any hope of stealing Sinner's map pick away.
Yeah, and living with a single player is not ideal, even if it is the op. Yeah, 7 rounds in a row is what they need just to get this into the overtime. Again, we expect the overpass to go a lot better for SKADE, or at least we did. Honestly, if they play like this, I'm not too sure about that. Sinners, they seem to be clicking together just kind of on an individual basis. It might be down to just playing this map a ton. To be fair, it is one of their main map choices. Sometimes they trade it out with, I think, Nuke a couple times I've seen in there as well. But in this series, anyway, it was the one that made the most sense by far. Yeah, just a little bit surprised by how flat SKADE have looked so far. I think a little in play as well for ships. Definitely not going to be helping. Nades are pretty much non-existent. They just don't have what they need here to really keep this going. Obviously, this is going to be the hardest maybe of the 7 rounds that they have to come. If they can't get, if they get this rather, then maybe we start to believe a little bit. We'd see maybe 1 more gun round, or 2 rather, before the economy really starts to suffer for Sinners. Round at a time is how they've got to take it right now.
It's a long way home, and they're going to go for the pop. Forzy forced off his first angle. The wraparound log going to come through. Can isolate it on this A site now. Forzy and Zedko to try and hold it down. Zedko's on the off angle, but Forzy's taking a lot of damage inside of this site, and Zedko has got to hold 2 spots at once. Rotation's rapidly coming through, but the bomb has stalled towards the archers. They're not committed just yet. And the timing's going to be everything. Zedko gets the freebie, gets the gift through the smoke, finds a second. Rainwaker visible when he thought he wasn't. And surely not like this. Beastick on the flank gets 2, and that's it. Dominance from Sinners on the CT side gets them the dub. And well, a map pick that we thought was going to be rough around the edges. We thought it was going to be difficult. You know, we looked at SKADE's stats. Their numbers said they were going to be in with a shout. Well, it just fell by the wayside. That T side looked utterly flat, and the CT